Imagine waking up in a box. The walls are pressing in on you and you can barely breathe. Your heart races as you realize you are trapped. It is dark and you cannot move. Every breath feels like a struggle and the silence is deafening. The air is heavy and cold. You are trapped. Panic sets in as you try to scream, but no sound comes out. This is the terrifying reality that haunted people in the 19th century. The fear of being buried alive was not just a nightmare, it was a genuine concern. They feared being buried alive. To prevent this, some graves were equipped with bells, so the dead could signal for help if they awoke underground. Back then, doctors didn't have the tools we have today. Medical science was still in its infancy, and diagnosing death was not always accurate. They couldn't always tell if a person was really dead or just in a deep sleep. Mistakes happened. People were sometimes declared dead when they were still alive. People woke up in their coffins, buried underground. The horror of realizing you are buried alive is unimaginable. This fear was very real. It gripped the hearts of many, causing widespread panic and anxiety. It spread across Europe and America. The fear of premature burial was a common theme in literature and folklore. People wrote stories about it and had nightmares about it. The fear seeped into the culture, influencing art and literature. It was a fear that whispered in the dark, a fear that lingered in the back of people's minds, reminding them of their own mortality. In the 1800s, medicine was still developing. Doctors relied on basic signs to determine death: no heartbeat, no breath. But some conditions, like comas, could mimic death. This uncertainty fueled the fear of being buried alive. Families worried that their loved ones might be mistakenly declared dead. They needed a way to be sure, a way to offer a second chance. This fear wasn't just superstition. It was rooted in a lack of scientific understanding. People didn't fully understand what happened when a person died. This made the possibility of being buried alive even more terrifying. The fear of being buried alive wasn't just in people's minds. There was chilling evidence to support it. When old coffins were dug up, some showed scratch marks on the inside. These scratches suggested that some people had indeed woken up after being buried. They had tried to escape their wooden tombs, only to die in darkness and despair. These discoveries sent shivers down people's spines. They confirmed their worst nightmares. The thought of being trapped underground, alive but unable to escape, was horrifying. Section 4. A ring for rescue. To combat the fear of being buried alive, people in the 18th and 19th centuries invented safety coffins. These coffins were designed with mechanisms to alert people above ground if someone was mistakenly buried alive. These coffins had various ways for a person to signal for help if they woke up underground. Some had escape hatches, while others had tubes for breathing or speaking. One of the most common features was a bell attached to a string. This simple yet ingenious design allowed the buried person to alert those above ground. The string ran from inside the coffin to above the grave. If the person inside the coffin woke up, they could pull the string, which would ring the bell above ground. If someone woke up, they could pull the string and ring the bell, alerting people nearby. This system provided a crucial lifeline in a terrifying situation. These bells offered a glimmer of hope in a dark situation. They were a beacon of potential rescue, a way to signal for help when all seemed lost. They represented a chance at rescue, a way to cheat death. The ringing bell was a sound that could bring relief and hope to both the buried and those above ground. People clung to these bells as a symbol of comfort and protection. In an era where medical science was still developing, these safety coffins and their bells provided a sense of security and a chance at survival. Section 5. Echoes of fear in words. The fear of being buried alive might seem like a distant nightmare today, but it left its mark on our language. In the 18th and 19th centuries, this fear was very real. People were terrified of being mistakenly pronounced dead and buried alive. This led to the invention of safety coffins, equipped with mechanisms to alert those above ground if the buried person was still alive. The phrase "saved by the bell" might have originated from these grave bells. These bells were attached to a string that the buried person could pull if they woke up underground. Imagine someone buried alive, about to give up hope, when suddenly they hear the clang of a bell above. The sound would signal to those above that someone was still alive below. Someone is digging them out. The relief and joy of being rescued from such a fate must have been overwhelming. They have been saved by the bell. This phrase has since evolved to mean being saved from a difficult situation at the last moment. Another phrase, dead ringer, also connects to this fear. It originally referred to a horse that was fraudulently substituted for another in a race, but it later came to describe someone who looks exactly like someone else. It refers to someone who looks exactly like someone else, so much so that they could be mistaken for the other person, even in death. This eerie resemblance could cause confusion and fear, especially in times when identification methods were not as advanced as they are today. These phrases remind us of a time when death was less understood and more feared. The unknown surrounding death led to many superstitions and practices aimed at preventing premature burial. They are echoes of a time when the line between life and death was thin and easily crossed. These expressions have endured through the years, serving as a reminder of our ancestors' fears and the lengths they went to in order to protect themselves from the unknown. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the echoes of fear and survival. The history of grave bells is a fascinating one, filled with tales of caution and ingenuity. These devices were not just mere trinkets, but were essential tools that reflected the anxieties and beliefs of the times. As we explored, we saw how these bells were a response to the fear of being buried alive, a fear that was very real and prevalent in the past. The stories and historical accounts we uncovered shed light on the lengths people would go to ensure their safety even in death. If you found this video intriguing, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories and historical insights. Our channel is dedicated to bringing you the most interesting and lesser-known aspects of history. By subscribing, you become part of a community that values knowledge and the preservation of our past. We delve into various topics from ancient civilizations to modern-day mysteries, ensuring that there is always something new and exciting for you to discover. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. The notification bell is your gateway to staying informed about our latest uploads. Each video we produce is crafted with care and attention to detail, aiming to provide you with a rich and engaging viewing experience.